Yo, this is SoulDrum86 bringing you another video. So, I have found an alternative to sport mode, and I know I'm probably late to the party. I know I'm late to the party, man. This game came out, 2022, I think, when Gran Turismo 7 came out. It is now 2026, and this is something that I'm dabbling in for the first time, and that is custom races. To me, these are so much better than sport mode. You don't have to deal with the dirty drivers, the inconsistent penalty system, because shockingly enough, the penalty system in this game works a lot better when you're doing custom races. There's things that I cannot get away with that I typically get away with if I'm playing the CPU, this is me going against the CPU, but like if I'm playing against the AI cars in any of the world circuits and some of the endurance races, I find that I can exceed track limits more often than I should be able to, stuff like that. But I have noticed that so far in doing these custom races, and I've done about 3 so far, 50 minute, I set the time to like 50 minute and 50 minutes. Why am I saying 50 minute? I set the time to 50-minute races and, and yeah, I can't get away with a lot of stuff, and it's nice. Slowing down for penalties, I have to do that manually. Like it's not the typical system where you wait for the time where they're gonna slow you down automatically, which is kind of nice. I do like that in this game, because Gran Turismo 7 is it's one of the more accessible sim racers out there. A lot of people argue that it's our arcade. Like I don't think that Gran Turismo 7 has any like arcade similarities at all. That's like the Crew and Need for Speed and Forza Horizon, but this is nowhere near an arcade experience. I think it's just more of a pick up and play sim as in terms of like it being like hardcore. Anyways, that has nothing to do with nothing. But I was having a really hard time playing sport mode and continuing to have fun. I never really cared too much about winning those races when I would be in sport mode. Now, I was happy and proud of myself because I hadn't played sport mode for so many years of having this game, and only this year I finally started to, and I was really holding my own, which doesn't really surprise me when I think about it, because it's like, well, I got a lot of hours logged into this game. So like if you're playing the game enough and you're learning the game enough, it doesn't matter if you have experience online or not. If you know how to race, you know how to race. So I was proud of myself, man. I was getting podium on some of the online races. I was, maybe starting at P11 and gaining 5 or 6 spots by the time the race was over. So I never really cared about winning the race. I just wanted to personally be better every time. So depending on where I start, right, I want to at least gain, even if it's just 1 spot. I'm just trying to gain a spot or a few spots by the time the race is done. And racing online in this game, it can be a real pain in the ass, man, with the dirty drivers. I mean, you'll be in like what? You'll be in P8, right? You'll be 8th place, and there will be somebody by the end of the race that will knock you out of the way on purpose, just so they can win? I mean, we're both losing the race. We're both losing the race. There's no need to knock me out of the way when we're both going to be losers by the end of this. So it was things like that was just always so frustrating to play. And it's like, come on, guys, like, taking it a little bit too serious. They always try to say that the people that complain about dirty drivers just need to sit back and have fun with the game. I understand that to a certain extent, but we are trying to have fun with the game. A lot of us aren't necessarily we got to win. We got to get first place because we know that there's going to be other drivers that are better than us when we go into these things. So that's why for me, I never really put that much pressure on myself to try to win these races in sport mode. I just always tried to be better than my last race. And the community, for the most part, a lot of the people that's within the Gran Turismo 7 community, they they take winning to the next level. And even if they're going to be a loser, they want to gain as many spots by any means necessary. And because of that, they have poor IQ on how to race. They don't have really good race etiquette about giving room and if they knock you out of the way, giving you your place back, especially if it was by accident. There are some drivers that will do that. If they know that something was a mistake of theirs, they'll slow down to let you pass them again, just so they can, try to overtake you the proper way. And that's the way that I like to race in these games, man. That's why I started playing Assetto Corsa so much, because even though I wasn't playing that online, because the drivers online in Assetto Corsa aren't much better. But Assetto Corsa, not only did it give me my true, authentic GT race experience, because they had the whole partnership with GT World. Like Assetto Corsa, ACC was pretty much built and designed to be like a game that was, a direct simulation to GT3 and GT4 racing. So I gravitated more to that, because even though I wasn't playing that online, outside of the few times that I did, even though I wasn't playing Assetto Corsa online, the racing experience with the AI cars was so much better. Why? Because they have the modern cars, right? And the grids mimic the real life grids, where say you'll have like a 25 car grid. I think you can get up to like 32 or 34 cars in the Assetto Corsa. I can't remember, but I typically will do like a 25 car grid, grid. And just like in real life, because I watch these races every weekend, just like in real life, you'll see a lot of races, a lot of scenarios where, a lot of these drivers are using the same cars, right? If you just look up GT3 race and just look at the grid, you'll see a few, you'll see like 4 or 5 Ferrari 296s. And then you'll see like 8 different, different liveries, but 8 Porsche 911 GT3s, and then you'll see like 5 or 6 Mercedes AMGs, and then you'll see you just kind of see like maybe up to like 4 cars total, right? And then sometimes there's races where somebody might have like a Nissan GT3 or something like that. There will be one car that kind of stands out, they're not using the same vehicle as like everybody else. But for the most part in these races, a lot of the cars are the same. And you will get that experience with Assetto Corsa. Every time you do a race, you'll see several Ferrari 296s. You'll see several Porsche 911s, and you'll see a couple BMW. You know what I mean? Like you see a lot of the same cars. You'll see that in sport mode in GT7, but the experience you have might not be that great. One of the things that annoys me about Gran Turismo 7 is when you do races like in your world circuit, like when you pick the races that you were playing to complete the game. The grid is a mixed bag of all these different cars. The only time that I've ever really seen that in real life GT3 racing is the Revival series. Right now they have going on, like there's a certain race where they use all like cars that are like 20 years old. It's all older cars. That's why they call it the Revival series. And pretty much that grid is full of cars that are very different. Everybody that is driving in that race is driving a different car. That is typically the only time that I've seen that in real life when it comes to GT3 racing. Typically everybody in these races are driving the same. Like if you're like, and then you have the races where they're all using the same class in general. Like there's Mustang challenges where everybody's using a Mustang Dark Horse GT4. You'll see that there are Porsche Cups where everybody's using a Porsche. You'll see the same thing with Ferrari, the same thing with Lamborghini. There are races where everybody's using the same car, and you don't really get that experience unless you customize that experience in Gran Turismo 7. So that is what this video is about. I have found an alternative to not only have challenging races and challenging long endurance style races. I really can't necessarily call them endurance. They are long. Endurance is more for like when you're doing like multiple hour races. But like I said, I set my races to like 50 to an hour. Because that's typically the majority of like a lot of the races in real life. They'll go like an hour. Then they'll do like their endurance ones. But typically a race on race weekend will be about an hour. But I set my races to about an hour. And I'm able to have challenge. I mean, this race that you're looking at right now was such a challenge, man, to catch the front of the grid. I feel like this is the first time also playing Gran Turismo where it feels like my lap time really mattered, because the quicker my lap time was, just like in any other racing experience like this, I was catching up to the pack more and more and more, because I started at P10 and everybody from like P9 was so ahead of me at the beginning of this race. But once my tires started warming up, and I started having like faster laps, I started catching the drivers in front of me. And right here, I might be in first place. I can't remember. This is a replay to one of the races. I think I might be in first place, but before this, it took me so long to catch the drivers ahead of me, and it was so much fun because I was like, this is what I want. Because typically when you play Gran Turismo 7, it feels like you can start from way back and get to the front of the pack very fast, and it's a little unrealistic without any crashes happening, without any of the CPU really making mistakes. You can catch the front of the pack. But with doing these custom races and setting the difficulty to where I have it at, it's difficult, man. I ended up winning this race, but it was at the last like minute, because when I made a pit stop, I think I went from like third or first all the way down to 15. I needed to pit because my fuel, I had to make 2 pit stops. All the cars in this race had to make 2 pit stops, because one was to fuel up and one was for a tire change. And I lasted on these bad tires for so long. It's not at this part of the race yet, but towards the end of this race, it was like towards the like middle end, I was on those tires for so long, man. As long as I saw that there was a little bit of white left where you look at how your tires are heating up, I pretty much went until I couldn't anymore. But this just gives me such a great authentic experience that I have to be honest, I haven't really had in Gran Turismo 7. And I love playing this game. I have so many hours logged in to Gran Turismo 7. It is by far, I would say it is my favorite racing game because of how many hours I've put into it. I put more hours in this game than I have put in any of the games that I have for the PlayStation 5. I put in more hours. Like if you look at all the hours that I put in any of the other games that I have for the PlayStation, none of them even come close to what hours I put into Gran Turismo 7 over the years. I've never truly stopped playing this game. Even when I would go months without playing, that would be just about it. And then I would get right back on and be playing this game again. But I'm actually able to have a true GT3 experience with these custom races in Gran Turismo 7. And that makes me feel so great. Now, what place am I? Okay, I'm in 4th place right here. So I'm just going to go through the cars real quick that are in this race. on how I was able to make this feel more authentic. Now, because I have so much money in this game, I was able to, and I had to be able to make the experience that I wanted. Now, I did this a while ago because I already was thinking about doing custom races, but I finally acted on it and started to do the custom race. So I had to buy multiple 911 GT3s. I had to buy multiple Ferrari 296s. I bought multiple Mercedes AMGs. And so in this race, you'll see, so this is first place. This is a Ferrari 296. Here's me. Here's the Lamborghini. Here's another Ferrari 296. Here's another Porsche 911. I do have the Nissimo in here, the Nissan. Here's another Ferrari 296. And I got a lot of the real life liveries too. Like I like using the liveries that are used in real life. I do have this Lexus GT3, even though these aren't, I haven't really seen anybody in the last 2 years really drive the Lexus GT3, but these I think are the only cars, both of these Lexuses are the only ones, they're the same Lexus, they're just different liveries. These are the only ones that I think that I have that are really different from the rest of the pack, because here's another 911 GT3 with another real life authentic livery. Here is another BMW. I think I got like 3 BMWs, but 2 of them are the same with different liveries. And then I have, of course, the Audis. Here's a Mercedes AMG. Here's another Mercedes AMG. Here's another BMW. Oh, and I do have an Aston Martin. And then I have the 20th car. And last place, this is another AMG with an authentic livery design. So like I said, I was able to create a grid that was very similar to what you would see in real life. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this, man. Very authentic. I don't have to worry. Now look, there's no secret. The AI cars will hit you in this game. But for the most part, the AI does drive properly in Gran Turismo 7. But all in all, this is the best experience that I've had since playing this game. And I've had some really, really fun experiences with this game. I was actually enjoying sport mode when I first started playing them. When I first started playing sport mode, I was having some pretty good races. And then it was like the honeymoon period quickly ended. And that's when I started running into a lot of the dirty drivers, getting bumped out of the way. But listen, I know that this video is, there's going to be a lot of people that probably come across it and say, well, yeah, duh, dude, like this is what I do. And even in certain lobbies, like where it's better to join up with like a crew that's going to race properly, because even if you join a lobby and they say, hey, like clean racing, you're still going to run into it. Because that happened to me. One time I was getting so frustrated with sport mode. I was like, you know what? I saw people talk about going to one of the lobbies. So I went to a lobby, and it was just as bad of an experience, even though they put on the title, no dirty driving. If you bump a racer on purpose, you're booted from the lobby. And it was a terrible experience. I was like, okay, I thought this was where the clean racing was. This makes it feel like I'm in sport mode. Of how difficult and how intense this race was, this makes it feel like I'm in sport mode. I feel like I can't make a mistake, and I love that. That's what I love about GT3 racing. That's why I like watching it in real life, is because you'll see when drivers like, you'll see how they can't make a mistake. You'll see that they need to have these perfect laps to start catching up, and you need to overtake properly, and you need to be strategic about your pit stops and all of that. And this is the first time that I've really truly felt that in Gran Turismo, because there have been times where if I'm playing the CPU and just regular races that aren't custom, I feel like I can make so many mistakes and recover. I'll spin off the track and I'll be fine. I won't really worry about it. But in this, whoo, man, this just created a whole new experience for me overall, and I'm here for it, man. I love it. As you can see, I am gaining on fourth place here, and this is what I was loving, man. I was like, dude, this in a race that took me an hour, I wasn't in front of the pack the entire time like how I normally am. Like this was a difficult race, and it made Gran Turismo 7 feel like a true, authentic GT3 racing game. Even though I know that they have road cars in here and they're just making an overall just racing experience, but you can make this game literally something similar to like ACC, Assetto Corsa. So, yeah. So I'm happy with it, man. So I just wanted to do this. I mean, look, Gran Turismo is always playing in the background or like on a screen in the background when I'm talking in these videos. So I thought, hey, let me make a video where I'm actually playing the game and talking about my experience with it. But yeah, this is what I'll be doing a lot of in this game, outside of the weekly stuff that I do like to do sometimes. This is what I'll mostly be doing in this game. But look, I'm gaining on that other 911, Rexy, as a matter of fact. That's what that livery is. Like, I'm gaining on Rexy. Like, this is awesome. Absolutely love it, man. But anyways, it's your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.